back in the spring, you were talking about Caleb Johnson needing to work on his blocking. Can you say some of the strides he made heading towards this fall, in the fall camp, and do you see him getting the bulk of the carries and be the primary rusher this fall?
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Sean's done a great job, and Jazz, I think, is a good prospect too. So, but that's a typical story for young backs. Is that blocking part's usually a little bit probably the biggest challenge. Somewhere in the last month or two, I heard an NFL player talking about the same thing, or an NFL coach talking about that's when guys get to the NFL, all of a sudden they got to learn how to block a little bit, because it's paramount. It's critical if you're going to have a good passing attack. But he's doing a good job, and he'll be fine.
Have you tried Swarm Beer yet?
I haven't. I haven't. So I will, though. I'll promise you I will. I'll make sure by next time we get together I will. Who just told me it was really good? Somebody yesterday was actually talking about it.
Have you tried Swarm vodka yet?
No. I haven't tried any vodka this summer, so not that I have anything against it, but no, I haven't any.
How much more do you like this as a one-day event?
A lot. Yeah. A lot. That was a marathon. Although, I used to take the guys out to dinner.
Sure.
That was enjoyable, but I'm okay with this. Yeah.
So the depth chart came out today. A lot of times we have to tell you what it says.
I looked at it on the plane.
So DeYoung ahead of Colby. I think we talked about a lineup. Is there anything?
Right now, don't even worry about it. It's because I've been saying, it's probably 8-9 guys competing for a starting job, maybe more. Who knows? I mean, we'll see. But that's part of camp. We're going to figure all that out. And the nice thing, don't really plan right now. Plan Connor outside. Just want him to kind of stay left-right guard. Whereas Nick can do both. He's got really, I think, good position flexibility. With Dejan out, he had to work all tackle basically in spring, and did a really nice job. So just, you see him being a lot more comfortable with what he's doing. He's got confidence in what he does now, and that's reassuring. So yeah, it's wide open. Everything right now is, we'll know a lot more here in about 4 weeks.
With the transfers, Caleb Brown, Seth Anderson, they're not on the depth chart, but is that just sort of reflection they got?
Yeah, I just haven't seen Caleb, and Seth was out basically all spring too. So, and Dejan were out of bodies. He was out all spring too, I understand, but so it just, again, that's kind of the same thing. I think we know what we have with Nico, obviously, and then I think Deontay's really done a nice job, and he's just got stay on the field, which I think hopefully all his bad luck's done, and so I'm really curious to see how the rest of that stuff just comes out here. I don't think we'll know those answers probably till late August as well. I certainly would expect Caleb to be in that mix, and I wouldn't be surprised if Seth is, but it's got to happen organically.
I was just asking James Franklin about Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
When you think of that guy, does he remind you of anyone, and how does he beat?
He's just such an unusual player. Start with his size. I mean, just to have his skill set, his precision, and be the size he is, it's pretty rare. And his dad, not even close size-wise, right? I mean, just not even close, but it's equally a really good player. I'm not diminishing him, but he's a rare player. Just a rare player. Tough defending him.
Noah originally was supposed to come here and release a statement about being involved in some way with the gambling investigation.
Yep.
Was your expectation that it would all be concluded by now, or why did he come and have to pull out?
Yeah, I mean, we learned at different stages what was what and all that. So, first thing, I hate picking 3 players. I absolutely hate it. Survey the player council, survey the staff, and then just kind of go with the results. But yeah, I really didn't anticipate a big deal, and I think he just didn't feel comfortable. We as coaches were pretty much out of all this, other than we got some information, and because it's really about the law firm that's working with the players and then the NCAA, so it's information's been pretty sporadic. But anyway, long story short, he just didn't feel comfortable because he is under investigation, as are several other guys. And the thing again, I understand the rule. We're all about not condoning gambling for college athletes, especially on college sports. And it's a real opportunity here to, again, let's maybe revise our thinking or re-examine what we're doing. But, I'll share the humanistic side of things. Like, Noah's one of our best guys. And this poor guy was really feeling badly last week, like really badly. It feels like he let his team down, etc. And my wife's mad because this guy hasn't done anything. There's no criminal offense here. He's 22, 23 years old. Hasn't hurt anybody. Hasn't done anything wrong. So to see him feeling the way he was feeling, it made all of us feel badly. And just hate to see the guy go like that. And again, I'm not. If you gamble, you gamble. I don't know the extent of all that stuff, but it just really kind of was. It's been an education for me, just examining. Okay, what are our policies versus what world are we living in right now? And I'm very hopeful that the NCAA is really going to take this opportunity to re-examine the approach moving forward, much like they've done with drug testing. You got marijuana legal in how many states, and we were, you know what I mean? It's just, and I'm not supporting marijuana usage either, but I think we got to be reasonable about how we do it. And I think, whether it's drug usage or betting or a lot of things, the best thing to do is be really proactive educationally. That's how I feel about it. And the other thing I'll just throw on the works again is there's 49 states. I don't think there's college football in Alaska, but there's 49 states where there are. I promise you, the guys in our investigation at the other school aren't the only ones that could be in an investigation. So let's acknowledge it. Let's admit what it is, and let's figure out how to approach it intelligently moving forward.
Do you think you're going to lose? Your players are going to lose games?
Don't know. I don't even want to project. I'm encouraged that the new standards came out. At least that to me is a signal that they are paying attention to what's going on. There have been more than a couple signals that what's going on at the NCAA is encouraging. Seems like there's a new life there, which is great. So we'll see. We'll see what they come up with, and could be a range of things. It could be education for the players, could be suspensions. I don't know. We'll just deal with whatever it is when it comes forward.
Kirk, one of the athletic department's supporters is a casino. Does that make things harder to?
That's what I'm saying. It's just so. And again, my son James is telling me that it's on game day. I don't watch college game day. I'm sorry to admit that, but just don't do it. It's superstition. But they're talking about spreads and all that. And we got a really fancy TV system now. We got YouTube TV, right? So I get ESPN News, not just 1 and 2 like we used to have. Mary's opened the budget up a little bit. So I got ESPN News on, and they got lines on the opening day college football games on the left. I'm like I don't pay attention to that stuff. Now I am. It's like, no kidding. So to think that kids aren't going to be attracted to that, and I understand they give you the bet with us and we'll give you $300 free dollars of you can lose 300 of our dollars, and then you'll lose all the rest of your money. It's just let's acknowledge that and let's deal with it in a common sense way. That's all.
Seemed like on stage over there you indicated you didn't think any of your players would bet on Iowa or anything like that.
I've again, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. I'd like to think I would have known that by now. I think that would have probably come down to us. I don't want to speak because there's a lot of things we're unclear on. Not because I can't, because I don't know. I'd like to think if they knew that, they would tell us. Because that, you can't do that. You can't bet on Iowa. You can't bet against Iowa. That's common sense too. I have no indication. I think a lot of it's harmless, and I know each and every individual at this point and who's involved. And they're all really good guys. So again, I think it's just emblematic that this is something going on everywhere, probably.
There's been a lot of talk about player safety and hazing. How do you make sure something like that is not in your locker room? And how does something like that even take root?
Yeah, you can't make sure of anything. It's just that's where I think it's really important that you have strong leadership internally. It can't just be the coaches. These coaches can't be everywhere. And that brings up a topic. I'm not a big one. I don't go through the locker room a lot unless there's nobody there. Like at the end of the day, I might go through to see what it looks like. There's crap on the floor, things like that bother me. But I'm not in there, on a routine basis. Some of our coaches do go through there, but you like to think somebody's going to come forward if there's an issue. You like to think that. But I'll go back to what I said about Bill Walsh's book. He back in the era when hazing was thought to be common practice, I think, it was accepted. He never believed in it. I think that's why he's ahead of his time. It's just, you're trying to build an organization, you're trying to build a team where people feel like, they're welcome there, they belong there, and an opportunity to earn respect. And we tell all of our guys they're selected. Nobody just walks in the building and joins our team. You have to go through a process, walk on or scholarship. And so everybody starts on equal ground. Now, you know, if you're a clown and you're not going to class and all that stuff, well, yeah, you might go down a little bit. But everybody deserves an opportunity to do things that they want. You know, college football should want to do, you know, get a degree, have a good experience in football. And I'll go back to my experience in the 80s. I marveled when I got here, just the closeness that the team seemed to have. I've got theories about it because so many guys were from out of state. I just think everybody understood like it was important to get guys, you know, involved right away. But it was that way, and again, just, you know, wintertime we brought 11 newcomers in. 2 were high school players, 9 guys that weren't. And, you know, I think there's a reason they transitioned so well because our guys welcomed in the program and they treat them like they've been with us for even, you know, guys that weren't here, played somewhere else 3 years. Hey, you're on our team now, you're one of us, and here we go.
Well, to your point, like if somebody's being a clown, as you said, and players, their teammates want to have accountability,
Yep.
how do they accomplish that without devolving into something like that?
Well, I mean, it's just, you got to have strong leaders. And to me, leadership is if I'm watching a guy do something I know is not right, and I'm going to talk to the guy about it. And then if that's not successful, then, you know, let somebody else know who can do something about it and correct it. And, you know, we're trying to always build that. It's a continual process internally. Nobody's ever got it done 100%, but I just think winning teams, winning organizations understand what's good and what's bad. And there's nothing, I just can't understand what would be helpful making somebody feel like, you know, they've got to do something stupid to join our team. Like it's hard work. What we do is hard work. That's the test. Like, can you do that hard work? Are you willing to do it? Obviously, older guys do it better than younger guys, but it's it's just I can't imagine there's a coach in the world that really would approve of his. I just can't imagine it. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't think any of us are trying to do it. We're trying to build teams and, you know, create a sense of, hey, you're part of this. And when I say clowns, I'm talking about doing stuff that like anybody can do. We could recruit anybody off the street, or my sister could go to class, you know, show up for a medical appointment, you know, just do things like you're supposed to do. And as simple as that sounds, I coach in pro football. It's not always that simple. Some guys, they just don't take care of like the things that everybody can do, and that's just being a good team, like, taking care of business.
Kirk, do you have a timeline on when you think this, or have been alerted to when there should have
I'd be throwing darts, but you know, obviously hopeful earlier in August than later in August, but I have no idea what the process is in front. So, yeah, it's pretty much out of our hands at this point.
But it will be August?
I hope. I mean,
okay.
Now we are talking about, you know, that's a discussion of what happens. You know, we don't hear anything. How can a player play? I'm not an expert on this, and hopefully we don't get to this point where I need to know it, but I would assume if you play a player who ends up getting suspended, I don't know if you end up forfeiting. So my guess is you have to hold them out based on what I saw this spring. I hope we're not in that situation.
2 more questions.
Yeah.
Cooper was a 4-sport athlete in high school. I don't mean to.
I was right on that. He played baseball too?
Yeah.
I thought he.
Yeah.
I figured he did. I played in the band too.
I don't mean to make this sound backhanded, but like, are there things you've seen him that he's like genuinely struggled with? Like, not. It doesn't even have to be like athletically. But
yeah. Yes and no. I know he played baseball because he had a 2-week slump. I remember hearing that 2-week slump, like his sophomore year. That was his most devastating moment in high school. I'm like, really? Boy, that's tough. I had a lifetime slump. Yeah, I think he's a really good illustration. Like, this guy's a pretty good player. You know, right now, like, he played really well last year. But I think his story, it's kind of a mix between Fant and Hawkinson. So, like, Noah played as a freshman. TJ was on the scout team the entire year, and 2 years later, 8th guy in the draft. So, and then Noah, you know, was like 20th, I think, right? So 2 different paths, but the point in time I'm getting to is like, you know, Cooper initially a year ago, he was a good player, good prospect, special teams, all that. But as the year went on, we could just kind of see, you know, he's getting confidence, really figuring it out. And by the end of the year, he was a really good football player. So we thought we knew what we had there. So I guess my point is his path, it wasn't a struggle necessarily, it was just that transition that guys go through, especially first-year guys. And you know, a year later, totally different player when we hit the field last fall. You know, a lot more confident, and that confidence kept growing. And special teams, the whole 9 yards. It just, you know, you just see him really, and as you see, he's a really quiet guy, kind of understated, but man, he's a fierce competitor.
Kirk, to revert back to the depth chart, Nick Jackson listed as a Mike, the second string Mike.
Yeah, again, that's same discussion.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
We'll figure all that out as we go. And we obviously know Jay. We know Fish. Fish has really ascended. Carson got hurt a little bit in the spring. He missed a lot of spring. So we think we know we got, but he's still got some things to learn. And then I think we know we got with Nick. So it's not 100% sure, but I'd be pretty confident to say he's going to be starting for us this year. That's what we brought him here for.
Cool.
Okay. No injuries. Any
health
major
wise.
injuries, health updates or anything?
Oh, nothing right now.
Beyond
Let me just think.
you
Let me
might know
think. Let me
what it
think.
was this spring.
Nothing in too deep.
So you're better. I mean,
Yeah.
spring was a
Knock on wood. Yeah, nothing in too deep. And guys are coming back.
yeah.
Which Mason's fine. All that stuff. So it's which is why they sat out in spring. So hopefully they'll be ready. But I think we're going to be in good shape there.
Okay, guys. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Cool.
Okay, guys.